Webb.
Welcome in, race fans, to another edition of In the Dirt. This is Webb Dillard, live on location from Stone Mountain, Georgia. It is my 5-year-old spring break. Mr. Brian Gray, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Webb. What's going on, Kyle May?
Not much, just sitting around.
Well, here we are. It is the end of March, and racing is in full swing. Brian Gray, what is the report from the Ohio region?
Well, we had a pretty good bunch of rain come through this week, so most of the racing up here was canceled, with the exception of the Big Lucas race at Brownstown, which I guess went off without a hitch, and I missed out because I really thought it was going to get rained out, and I wasn't taking the trek up there. Most people know what it was like last year, and I was just a little concerned about that. But our man Don O'Neill pulled off a major win, I guess, this weekend. In
the Dirt alumnus, Mr. Don O'Neill takes the victory at the Icebreaker, Brownstown. Yeah, the weather here got Talladega short track. Kyle May, did you guys get to go anywhere this weekend?
No, everywhere was pretty much rained out. We didn't even try to go anywhere. We just gonna save it and go to the Crate Nationals, I reckon.
That is on April 6th and 7th from the Green Valley Speedway. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And, hey, Kyle May, last week we were without one Brian Gray. Brian Gray, you have anything to say for yourself on that?
Well, boys, I kind of pulled a Kyle May on us and just ended up on the race car. And I was out in the garage and I didn't even realize it. I'm just hanging out there all night. And then somebody mentioned to me, they said, weren't you supposed to call in and be on the In the Dirt show tonight? And I was like, oh, my God. Totally forgot, dude. Just was called up trying to get everything ready to go.
And shortly after, I texted just to make sure that you were in health. I wasn't concerned that you missed. I was calling. I texted you, say, hey, you all right, buddy?
Yes, you absolutely did. And I was the big flake for the night. So you guys are welcome to throw punches all you want. But yes, Webb called. He was concerned about if something was wrong. But I am sorry for missing out. But I did get quite a bit of stuff done on the race car this weekend, and I got guys coming up here, and I've been working with a few people, and we're getting engines ready for one guy and building bodies for another and doing shocks and this and that and so much going on. So I got a bunch of guys involved this year. It should be pretty good.
Now, I want to point out, I know this is a racing show, as they say, but Mr. Jeff Alsop had to call and talk a bunch of crap about Kentucky beating my Hoosiers, which I would have done the same had the Hoosiers beat Kentucky. But I appreciate it was a funny gesture to look down at Facebook yesterday, and Mr. Jeff Alsop, in all his kind-heartedness, asked what time IU played, and they, of course, didn't because Kentucky beat them. So, Jeff, if you're listening, haha, it was good stuff. But what I put down on Facebook, Brian, I put this. I said, Jeff, you'll have to wonder next time you find me standing next to your race car. But anyway, so tonight we got a pretty good lineup of guests. We've got James Clolinger calling in here in a few minutes from, he's co-promoter of Greenville Speedway, Greenville, Mississippi. Right behind him, probably during his phone call, we have Bobby Jordan, a local hot shoe there to Greenville Speedway. After that, we have Mr. Lee Burdett. He is a crate pilot at Talladega Short Track out of Margaret, Alabama. And now he's a racer in his own right, and he has his own story to tell. But the interesting thing for our listeners outside of the general area of Talladega Short Track, his grandfather is one of the NASCAR 50 greatest drivers, Mr. Red Farmer. So we got Lee Burdett coming on here briefly. And at the end of the evening, to wrap up the program, we have Josh Joyner. He is out of Milton, Florida, of the Racing Joiners there in Milton, North Florida. He now resides in Columbia, South Carolina. He is on staff with Dirt on Dirt. He is a staff writer. He travels the circuits reporting. He does a blog once a month. So we have Josh Joyner coming up. So plenty of stuff going on this evening. Brian, what's going to be your first race, buddy?
Looks like Moeller Raceway Park this Friday. We are actually, the guys are out in the garage right now, banging more stuff out, and that's a big thing. Everybody asked me. They said, "Well, isn't the car ready?" I was like, "Well, there's always something to do, right, Kyle?"
There's always something to do. I have to agree with that.
It doesn't matter if the car's ready and then you're ready to go racing and it gets rained out that following week. You're going to want to either change something or there's something that has to be done because you're never completely done.
Kind of weird how it works actually, because you're like ready to go to the races, and like you said, the next week you'll work on it all week long again, and never even hit the racetrack.
I know.
So what's going on with the 56 OMG James Klein chassis, Mr. Kyle May?
Oh well, like I said, we put the I believe it'll be what you might call a kibosh setup on it for the Creighton Nationals. We went back and changed about anything and everything you can think of before we go. So we're going to go down there with a fresh start, but hoping that it all works out. I think we're going to go to Fort Payne Motor Speedway this weekend and actually practice, and might let the boss man / car owner make a few laps in it. I'm kind of skeptical, but I think I'm going to let him do it.
Well,
he does put a little bit of money towards it. I mean, he does own the whole operation, so you kind of got to let him do it.
Hey, that man is about 1/4 squirrel. I'm just going to let you know. He is one quarter squirrel. It's his car. If he wants to go out and put it in the wall, then DW, go make it happen.
Yeah. I was like, we was talking about today. I was like, I just don't. I'm hoping they put you out there by yourself. I said, I may get in my dad's car and follow you. He said, so you want to see the wreck? And I was like, yeah, that's it.
So what does crew chief Mark Stevens say about Darrell Weaver taking a spin in the 56 crate car?
I don't know. He kind of had the same idea I did. He's like, if you wreck it, we're going to be mad at you. And Darrell was like, well, I don't care. People's mad at me all the time. He's like, we're going to go knock a fender off that 37 sitting over there in the shop floor at the office. And he's like, I don't know about that. I'll be mad then. He's like, well, we'll all be mad at each other. It'll work out pretty good. Hey,
Kyle May, right before the car owner, Darrell Weaver, gets in the car, I want you to walk over to him while he's tightening that chin strap and say, look, Juan Pablo, if you just don't hit the jet dryer, everything's going to be fine.
I'm not gonna say the words, but I'm gonna pull the whole when Cole Trickle drives Rowdy Burns' car there at testing. I'm gonna tell him that right before he gets in. Pull the whole bad A, try to be a hard ass kind of thing with him.
Don't.
Probably not gonna work.
No, because he'll probably go out there and set some kind of crazy fast time and then kick you out of the car.
Probably like new track record.
New track record at Fort Payne.
That'd be lost ride.
So who do you foresee showing up at Moeller Raceway Park this weekend, Brian? While we're waiting on Mr. James Clolinger to call in.
I'm thinking we're definitely going to see the boss, Barry Doss. You're going to see Mike Myers, the Fayetteville Flyers, going to be out there, I'm sure. We'll probably have Timmy Carpenter, and who knows, you might see Chad Stapleton show up, which he made that Lucas show up at Brownstown this weekend.
Really?
Yes, he did. And he made it into the race. He didn't have to run the Conti.
Really? Good job, Chad Stapleton. That's pretty impressive. So that new orange front-end rocket he's got working for him pretty good, I think. Captain Chaos.
Yep. I'm still going to drive around sideways on the high side, throwing dirt up over into the stands, but that's another story.
Did he finish the race? That's the question.
I believe so. So I didn't hear about him crashing. I mean, and Mr. Greg Johnson, which we had him on the phone. He did call in, right?
That's right. He's also an old man's garage guy.
Well, him and that Rayburn, I think they got them a top 3. I think he might have ran second up there.
The phones might have been ringing at right there in Whiteland, Indiana this morning with a second place finish in a Lucas show.
Yep. The sniper was up there, Wayne Chin. He showed up at Brownstown along with let's see, who else did we have? We had a Revolution car. I think Michael Chilton was there. There's about 40-something cars, I think everybody said, and the with the rain that we had, it had to be tacky and fast. Like I said, I kind of wish I would have went, but I just wasn't ready to take that chance to drive up there, 4.5 hours and then get stuck in the mud like we did last year. So we just kept it home, and we're going to go to Moeller Friday night and hit their opener. They've been rained out every daggone weekend except for practice, so we'll give it try number 3, I should say.
Well, while we're waiting on Mr. James Clolinger to call in, which he should call in here in the next couple of minutes, I'll be on my way to Jackson, Mississippi Friday for the Lucas Oil stop there. Looking forward to that. And then the next night, I'll be trekking my way to Kilgore, Texas, out to Lone Star Speedway. So hopefully I can get for next Monday's show, I'll try to get the winners for each night on the this little southern swing of the Lucas Oil series. Don's started out pretty hot on the Lucas series this year. Welcome back, race fans, to In the Dirt. On the telephone, we have Mr. James Clolinger from Greenville, Mississippi, Greenville Speedway. James, how are you this evening?
Man, doing great, man. Out here at this racetrack trying to get this thing ready.
I hear you, brother. Now, we've talked over the last few days several times. Welcome to In the Dirt. This is our little Monday night deal where we try to keep all the race fans and racers abreast of what's going on. You guys have an absolute big show coming up. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we got the Neesmith Touring Series coming up here to April 4th and 5th. Just pumped up, man. That's going to be our season opener, so we're ready.
Also on the line with us, our co-host Brian Gray, and also another co-host, Kyle May, both race car drivers, and both have questions about the gumbo. Tell these drivers a little bit about this gumbo that's got me mesmerized because I had never seen it. Tell these guys.
It's a little different, Webb, and guys, it's starting out. It's a black dirt, so it's not many tracks around. I know Riverside Speedway it has it in West Memphis, Arkansas, but very, very hooked up and fast when it's wet. A lot of guys that come here that's used to running on red clay stuff. This stuff, you run off in the corner and smash on the gas. It's hooked up. It don't slide. You can't hardly back one in here. You got to drive it around here. It's totally different, and it really throws the guy for a loop. But when it slicks off, it's the slickest stuff you ever been on in your life. It's a lot of people, Scott Slay and all them used to come over and race with Mid-Tip State Series. Man, that's the slickest stuff I've ever seen in my life. But, man, it's an awesome racetrack. It changes all night long from start to finish. You start on something that's got so much grip in it, and then by the night's end, you searching for grip, and you begging like, God, find me a wet spot out here, a piece of rubber. It don't take rubber. It don't take rubber like red clay either. It really, really, really got to have a lot of cars on it to take rubber. But
how abrasive is it on tires? Does it wear tires much? Or
no? Even this slick here, our tires usually last us on either late model or the crate car. You get 4 weeks out of a set of tires, man. You will not burn up a set of tires at Greenville. You can race, put a new set of rubber on your car. Most of the time, after you've done the hot lap, time trial, heat races, titty's still on the tire if you didn't grind them if it's a brand new set of tires. It's pretty good. It's that much grip. I
just hear people talking about, they say this gumbo clay, and I'm thinking, when I hear gumbo, I'm thinking something that, you cook up in the kitchen down in Louisiana.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shoot them, Liz, shoot them.
Look, guys, this stuff here, you want to know the recipe when you come here, man. A lot of guys, some of them unload, but you do want to know the recipe to get around this place. Never forget for the rest of my life with Matthew Turner's first trip here and his dad and them over there watching. It's sticky. You let it dry, it'll fall right off the car. But he's trying to clean the tires. Man, is this track always like this? And that's his first win he ever got. And he loves this place.
On the gumbo clay. So what's the recipe to get gumbo clay?
Mississippi Delta, man. That's the only recipe I know to get it, man. A lot of people have asked us how you can transport this stuff to their track because they like it, man. But I believe, it's easy to work after you learn how to do it. It took me 4 years to figure it out to get it to work. But for the last 2, maybe 3 years, man, we got it where we just got it. We have to sheet foot the mess out of it, get it tight. No holes. We usually don't have any holes, and it's usually a good surface. It starts out good, but like I say, man, a lot of people are intimidated by it at first, but after they get used to it, they love it.
Now,
that's something that I've heard a lot about, Webb. You know, there's guys up here in the excavating business, and they talk about how there's different dirt this and different dirt that, and I'm just like, dirt's dirt, man, ain't it? That's what I always thought, but I guess it's not.
No, there is you could go from Modoc, South Carolina, over to Arcotech Speedway, and it's all different in between. Excuse me. Now, you guys have made a few changes to the racetrack starting out this year. If anybody's listening who's going to be coming out there, what's new to the racetrack and what advantages does a new guy have coming up with the season opener?
I don't believe nobody's going to have an advantage this year starting out. You know, our locals usually have a little more advantage because they've been racing around this joint since they was started out in race cars. But we put a concrete wall all the way around this thing, and usually we just had a concrete wall down the front straightaway, open on the ends and everything. And cars you could drive off, and some of them flipped off, but we wanted to station this place up a little bit because it's really, really fast racetrack. We put the wall up, and we kind of de-shaped the bag. We added some new dirt. That's what we're out here doing today. My guy just left here with dirt buckets, and it's going to be completely different for everybody that comes. They're going to have to change the gear. They're going to have to readjust how they enter the corner here with the wall, and everything's going to be different, man. It's going to be everybody's going to be on the same playing field when they come in here.
Now, you guys, okay, we talked about the Neesmith Touring Series will be out there, the Rumble and the Gumbo 75, the third annual. Yeah. It's the third edition of it. Talk to me a little bit about how the big motor cars do on that speedway and how the track holds up to the big motor cars.
The super late models, like I say, it varies. Some of them like it, and some of them don't. When starting out the night, it's just too fast. Speed is out of this world, man, around this place, and they love it after it slicks off a little bit, which it is. It's racy hooked up. You can pass either way, but passing when it's slicker, it's better to me. When I first started out here, I wanted this baby hammered down. I want to see them toting the wheel all the way around the racetrack. But we kind of came off of that. But really, we do a lot of super late model races. We probably got more super late model shows than anybody in Mississippi as far as series is coming in. We got 3 Mississippi State races. We got 3 super races. We got a Gumbo Nationals we do every year, which we moved the date up this year to October. But, and last year we had 3 pro races, but Pro Series, they stopped racing this year. And but we put the fans here love super late models, man, so we have to give them a lot of that, too. And they're growing on this Neesmith deal a lot, too.
Now, earlier this week, I had the pleasure, and through my Neesmith duties, I had the pleasure of talking to Duke Palacini, one of the hot shoes there. And, of course, his dad, he's running sprint cars. Hell, my old man, Webb Jr., which I'm the third, Webb Jr.'s even said, hey, I know who his daddy is. But we got Bobby Jordan calling in this evening. Tell us a little bit about Bobby Jordan and just what can we expect from him when we talk to him here in a minute.
Bobby's he's a good family guy. He's country just like the rest of us over here in this area, man. Really puts a lot of effort in his race car every week. Bobby moved up from the street stocks a couple years back. He's never got a win here. He's led, and I've seen him out there, man. He's screaming, caution come out. How many laps left? He's screaming at me, dude. And I said, dude, we got a few laps left, but Man, these guys, Bobby is going to be good this year. He picked up a win in Jackson. We rained out. He went to Jackson Speedway here in Jackson, Mississippi, and got him a win there last year. And I was hoping he'd pick him up one here, but Duke was so good last year. He just dominated here, 11 wins. You know, he almost won and it didn't matter who came in his house here. You know, these guys, the Policinians was raised around here, man. They know this track from hook to slick. You know, I mean, their dad knows so much information. It's hard for a guy to win a race here. But Bobby is going to be really good and just outstanding guy, family guy, and really fun to be around, man.
All right. Well, tell us, before we go to break, tell us a little bit. Go ahead and give us a schedule and some ticket prices for the Rumble on the Gumbo 75 on April 5th, 6th, and 7th, and talk about the addition of the Thursday night practice you guys have.
All right. Well, I messed the date up a while ago. I'm glad you corrected me. But anyway, Thursday night we're going to kick off the practice. It's free for the grandstands. Anybody want to come out and check it out? It's going to be an open practice session. Anybody can practice, you know, and we'll set up the times in there. It'll be $10 per person to get in the pits. Friday night, I want to kick it off about 7:30, and you'll have Neesmith qualifying. We'll run 3 other features that night, so somebody, you know, when they get their money's worth. And then Saturday night we'll come in with our B-mains with our Neesmith dirt late models. Super late models will be running Saturday night, and modifieds and your street stock, so run Saturday night. Friday night, ticket price, grandstands will be $10, $5 for kids. Friday night, pit prices will be $15 for kids, $30 for an adult. Saturday night, pits will be $35 and $15. Grandstands Saturday night will be $15 and $5. We never go up on our kid prices here at Greenville Speedway.
Is the Super Late Model Show, is it a sanctioned event?
No, it's our weekly stuff, man, and you'll have some pretty good drivers here. We have a lot of good local talent here, man, on a weekly deal here. They put on a heck of a show every week.
Well, all right.
We run them every Saturday night here at Greenville Speedway.
Well, James, I certainly appreciate you guys coming on here on In the Dirt with us and promoting your big event coming up. And, of course, we'll speak prior to the Neesmith event there. So I wish you guys all the luck in the world, and we'll probably call on you guys in the future to come on In the Dirt.
All right, man. I really enjoyed it, man, and y'all call me anytime or whatever. We'll sure do this thing because, like I say, we got a lot of really good events coming up.
Not a problem, brother. Mr. James Clolinger, Greenville Speedway. We'll go to break, and when we get back,
it's live radio. It's the Neesmith.
Oh, welcome back, race fans, to In the Dirt. I want to, first of all, I want to point out that my co-host Brian Gray is doing a wonderful job producing out of Hamilton, Ohio. Brian, thank you very much for doing what you're doing tonight.
I wish I could have recorded that. It's the Neesmith.
It is Neesmith.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard Mr. Jordan. As a matter of fact, welcome to the program, Bobby Jordan, Hot Shoe, a local hot shoe, Greenville, Mississippi. Mr. Jordan, how are you, sir?
Doing good.
Well, you were preceded by Mr. James Clolinger, co-promoter of Greenville Speedway, and over the last couple weeks, I've talked to him several times. As you know, I'm with the Neesmith Series, but I also do this little radio show Monday nights. We've talked a lot about the Gumbo. We've heard the promoter talk about the Gumbo. I need a driver to tell us about the Gumbo. Tell me about the Gumbo surface there at Greenville Speedway.
It's a surface like no other racetrack you'll ever go to. You can be on that track 1 minute, and it's as hooked up as you've ever been, and the next time you get on it, it's as slick as running on ice. It's just real hard to figure out.
Now, you raced there for a number of years. James told us you come up from the street stocks, and is there an advantage to growing up there? Is there an advantage to learning to race there versus these touring guys coming in with the Neesmith Series?
I think it is. You know, racing there weekly, you figure out the track a little better than these other guys that are there once or twice a year. You kind of know what to base yourself on and know when the track's real heavy and you know about when it's going to dry out, so you can kind of set your car up that way.
So when you guys are there racing on a weekly basis, who would you say that you like to race with, and who's your greatest challenge there? The local guys.
I like to race with all of them. You know, it's good, clean racing over there. The guys respect each other, and you know, Duke Palafini, he's from over there. He won the track championship. He's real hard to beat, and he's real competitive, and he's a great driver. And you know, he runs just clean, and you know, he's got it figured out just like everybody else does.
So, when did you start your racing career there at Greenville?
Probably 7 years ago, and we were there a few times, and then James, they opened the track up, I think 5 years ago, and that's really when we started racing, when they went full-time with the track.
Now, obviously, there's some big changes there. James told us about they've D-shaped it, and they put a wall around it. What does that do for the local guy versus somebody who had never been there? Is the advantage still the same towards the local guy, or do you have to relearn the speedway?
I think everybody's going to have to relearn the speedway with the wall being put up. You know, we're really not sure how the wall is going to affect the track, but, of course, it's going to be a lot different. You used to be able to hang off kind of towards the top of the track, and now you're not going to be able to do that with the wall there. And, this, of course, it's really going to be different to these guys that only race there once or twice a year.
Now, would this be one of those moments, like maybe you ought to get one of, like I seen this guy over in Liberty, Indiana, in a modified. He took a big urethane wheel, and he just mounted it right on the, you know, the right rear part of the bumper so he could put it right up against the wall. Did you ever think about that?
I've never thought about that. That would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Now, I'm not kidding you at all, Webb, and this dude would go run down into the corner. He'd put the back of the car right up against the wall as he went in and then just lay in the throttle, buddy, and it was awesome.
Well, I know for a fact that when Green Valley Speedway, Green Valley, not Greenville, Green Valley Speedway in Glencoe, Alabama, they went from a D-shaped speedway to more of a paperclip about 5 years ago, right, Kyle May?
Yeah, that'd be probably pretty close to right.
About 5 years ago, and I remember that there was more first-time winners because going from a D-shape to a paperclip, the local drivers would try to hang that thing out like they used to, you know, on the D-shape.
Drive it right into the wall.
And they would hang it over that lip. Now, there was a lip. Now, there wasn't a wall. There was a lip. But they'd drive over that lip, and then all these new guys would freight train them on the bottom of the speedway. So would that be something, Bobby, that maybe that the local guys may try to do, is try to, you know, exit a little bit higher than they would normally would, since it's D-shaped now?
Yeah, you know, that's possible. But, you know, it's kind of a tight corner track as it is, you know, unless you're up against all the way up on the high side of the track. And with that wall, you know, it could be a lot different. But, you know, it could be like the hairpins, and you need to exit higher.
Yeah. Well, let's turn our focus with you towards the Neesmith Weekly Series, and I know you're a competitor in that. What does it mean to you guys? And all levels of racing are important. And I don't want to sound, not trying to sound condescending by any means, but what does it mean on a weekly level to compete for a championship that's kind of national in itself?
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of cars out there running these different tracks, and it feels pretty good to be able to run in the top five anywhere you go. And, you know, you run against these local guys that are great competition, and anytime you run with them and you can outrun them, you kind of feel better about your program.
All right. Well, we're certainly going to look forward to seeing you April 5th, 6th, and 7th, and certainly you're going to take advantage of that practice on the 5th, I'm sure, right before the Neesmith guys come into town.
Oh, no doubt. We'll definitely be there.
Well, all right. Well, Mr. Bobby Jordan, we really appreciate you coming in here on In the Dirt tonight, and wish you luck in your 2012 season. And maybe we'll call upon you. You get that checker flag, we'll call upon you, and you can come talk about your first win this year at Greenville.
That'd be good.
All right, Mr. Bobby Jordan, Greenville Speedway. Go ahead and send us a break, Brian.
All right.
Welcome back, race fans, to In the Dirt. Kyle May, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Well, Kyle May, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I want you to introduce our next guest.
Our next guest here on In the Dirt is Lee Burdett. He's a local racer here at Talladega Short Track. Lee, introduce yourself and tell us about yourself.
My name's Lee. I race at Talladega, run the Neesmith Series. tried running a little bit all over the place. Love going to Mississippi, running Columbus, Magnolia. Been in racing since I've been in diapers. My grandfather is probably one of the biggest known legends out there, Red Farmer, and it's hard growing up in his shadow and coming into this, you know, a lot to live up to. I couldn't do it without my sponsors that I have, my family supporting me, my good friends. One of my best friend won the regional championship, and I was so proud of him.
That would be Mr. Jimmy Elkins out of Talladega, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Lee, I know, like you said, your grandpa is a Red Farmer, and that's a big shoe to fill, I'm sure. But did he get you into racing, or what? What actually got you started racing?
Actually, a gentleman by the name of Tom Miner out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, owns Pop Shop. It's one of my grandfather's old sponsors. Mr. Miner has passed away, but he actually had a pony stock car back when I was about 15 years old that me and my cousin, Charlie Brock, took turns driving. We put it together and had a good time with it. But I got out of it for several years, and there's a gentleman that's kind of behind the scene at Talladega that he's probably got his hands and a lot of drivers around there that people don't know about, and that's Jimmy Elder. He actually gave me my first car to drive and a motor. That was in crates when crates first got going, and with a 20-year-old chassis that we had, fourth race out, we won.
Now, let me get this right. Now, your grandfather's Red Farmer, and he didn't ever get, and it was somebody else that got you started in racing. So my grandfather got me started in racing, but I got the speech that I wish I had never introduced you to this bunch of junk, is what he told me. So is that kind of where he was coming from?
No, not really. He wanted me. I've worked on him all my life with him, and he's old school. Nothing's given to you. You have to earn it. You have to get out there, sell yourself, get your sponsorship. So there's a big misconception there that everybody thinks I ride his coattails. That don't happen. He helps me, you know, with pointers, and he's helped me get started. Drivers like Jerry Goodwin, he was a great coach to me, and Chris Molnax. When I first got started, a driver that used to run Talladega, Ren Turner, he helped me a lot. A lot of the drivers watched me grow up with my grandfather, played more of a part of it. He wanted me to do this on my own. He wanted me to stand on my own 2 feet with it.
And I can vouch. I've been out there, and granted, Red is Red, and we all know that Red's getting up there in his years, but he's still out there racing. But you guys run 2 different programs, and you know, running team cars or whatever, what appears to be team cars, you kind of run a little better than him sometimes. Is that not true too?
Hey, don't let that fool you now. He'll race me harder than anybody out there. We run a heat race one night and passed the lead back and forth, I bet you 10 times in an 8-lap race, and run off from the field. When I have to take my time if I'm trying to get around my grandfather, because the first time he sees the nose of my car, it's a fair game. He don't cut me no slack.
Now Lee, take us back to the Ice Bowl. You're a local driver there at Talladega Short Track. And tell us what was wrong with that speedway back at the Ice Bowl.
They put new clay on the track, and, man, I just don't think that they quite got it worked in the way they should have by putting the layers of clay down. I've never, all my years of going to that track, back when we used to park in the infield, I've never, ever have I seen Talladega come apart like that. It was actually, I mean, not Magnolia, but Magnolia will rut up, but you can drive through it. It's, I've never been on a track that bad. We literally come completely off the ground going into the turns. It was a crapshoot to see who was going to come out first.
And every track, yeah. every track has their day, has their problems. But what is the mystique of Talladega short track?
It's said to be, to race at Talladega, you've got to be one of the top-notch drivers. It's hard-nosed racing. At any time, any of the first 6 guys, 7 guys at that, can win that race. I've been to a lot of tracks and run the National Series races, and I've never had to battle people as hard as I've had to battle them at Talladega.
And that's any class. I mean, it's not just a crate class or not just super class.
That's any class out there. It's hard-nosed racing at that track. But in the same aspect, it's all a big family out there. I've tore my car up and had guys from other cars come over, bring me parts. Everybody jumps in there and gets the car back together. It's fun. That's the thing about racing. If you can't have fun, you don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with that.
And you have a relationship with the Elkins and the Galdens. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Jimmy's. We call him Scooter. He's my best friend. We cut up with each other, and Adam, we all give each other a hard time about who's going to outrun who. But when it's all said and done, if something happens to one of our cars, we're all right there to help each other to make sure we have that chance to race each other.
And make sure you got a chance to go back out and tear each other up, right?
Yeah, that's about it. We have a blast with it.
Well, all right,
that's
Lee.
The whole thing.
That's right. Well, all right, Lee, before we let you get off here, first I want to tell you thank you for joining us. You are a driver and a racer in your own right, and that's why we wanted you on here for, not because your granddaddy who he is. So take some time to thank some of your sponsors, and then let us know what 2012 has in store. I know you guys are waiting on a motor.
Yeah, I'm waiting on a motor I'm having put together. I'm going to try to run a lot more national races this year. Do a little bit more traveling. It's just financially getting out there, and if it wasn't for my sponsors that I have now, and I'm also looking for more sponsorship. I have Strickland Tax Service, Kim Strickland, City Auto Garage, Ray Holmes and Cindy Holmes, and Ken McFarland. I have Willie's Carburetor and Schoenfeld Headers, and Schaefer Oil, Mr. David Mackey. He is one of a kind.
Now, before we let you go, I got to interview, and I hate to do this to you, but I got to interview your grandfather back when they named the grandstands after him out there at Talladega. And I know for a fact that Schaefer's has been with him for a long time, too. And they sponsor a lot of people, or do stuff a lot of people. But one of the cool stories about your grandfather was about Sonny King, and how there's never been a big contract. It's just been it's been on a napkin or a handshake one, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Everything my grandfather's ever done has always been on a handshake. Mr. Burroughs from Long Lewis, same way.
Long Lewis Ford. I apologize. It's Long Lewis Ford, and I got that on tape, and that is one of my treasured possessions of him talking about how Long Lewis Ford has just been his sponsor on a handshake for 40, 50, almost 45 years, hasn't it?
I believe it's right at 61, I believe.
I was way off.
from the time he's been going, I've about lost track of it, sir, to be honest with you. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He gets around that shop like he's 18 years old, and I love it. I love racing against my grandfather, and I'm glad he's able to still be out there doing it.
There's a good picture of Kyle May and your granddaddy on the at Talladega, and when Kyle and I looked at it, I said, Kyle, this right here, son, you cannot ever forget this, that you were on the same track as Red Farmer. I said, that's awesome. As a 20-year-old, you've got to be ecstatic that you have a picture of you and Red on the speedway together. So that's pretty cool. Well, all right, well, we're going to go ahead.
I believe he was actually passing me in that picture. I believe he was passing me, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was passing me on the outside.
Well, that's all. It's all relative.
Was he rubbing doors with you?
I think he was. I think he was actually getting me a pretty good bit of room. I think he was afraid I was going to hit him instead of him hitting me.
Well, you are a little bit wild, Kyle. Well, Lee, I appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you out there at Talladega Short Track this year, and looking forward to if you guys get a checker flag, I want you here on Monday night talking about it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, Lee Burdett out of Margaret, Alabama, Hot Shoe Talladega. He's going to be traveling national this year. When we come back, we'll be talking to Josh Joyner of Dirt on Dirt. Welcome back, race fans, to In the Dirt. On the telephone, we have Josh Joyner. He is a staff rider with Dirt on Dirt. He's also of the Racing Joyners out of North Florida, Milton, Florida. Mr. Joyner, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
I'm out of Bailey's.
Out of Bailey's.
Well, that could be a problem, I guess.
Are you drinking with coffee, Brian?
No, I'm just drinking it in ice.
Oh, Bailey's on ice. Not a sponsor.
They should send some more of this stuff over here. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Josh,
the boys come in here out of the garage. They said, hey, here, you want some of this stuff? I said, sure. And I've been sipping on it. And it's just a little bit. And they said, just sip on it. But I don't know.
So my producer is boozing. Okay, great.
I talk. Miss up. Hey, Brandy, go get me a beer.
All right, so we got to go back to business. Mr. Josh Joyner is with us here from Dirt on Dirt. You've been with them about a year now, haven't you, Josh?
A little over a year, about working on a year and a half now, I think. Don't know the exact time, but been full-time for that time, for, like I said, about a year and a half, but was freelancing for a while before that, so been around a little while.
That's right. But you come from a racing family out of Milton, Florida. Tell us a little bit about your guys' racing background, and you've actually raced.
Yeah, I did have a short-lived driving career of my own there for a little while. My dad raced when I was growing up. I had a couple uncles that raced and a cousin that raced, and then I have a twin brother, Jonathan Joyner, who got into it before I did, and helped him, and I went to all his races, and then I got into it myself after high school, because during high school I was into sports and everything, so I got into it myself, driving crates and supers down around home there around Milton at tracks like Southern Raceway and North Florida Speedway and Deep South Speedway, or Northwest Florida Speedway, I should say. But definitely had a good time with it, and eventually decided that that wasn't my where my career was leading me, and decided to trade my helmet, I guess you could say, for a pen and notepad. People tell me, but it's still good to be around the sport, writing about it and following it, and also my two brothers still race back home. Jonathan more on a part-time level, and then my younger brother Joseph's into it pretty heavy now. So it's I've been involved with it in many different ways throughout the years.
So see now, Webb, everybody talks about getting into the sport, and I've always asked, well, how do you get out of it? And they don't make a rehab for this, and I guess Josh is a living proof of it. You never get out of it.
No, I guess I know of a few people that maybe, quit it cold turkey, but I do know quite a few. I can remember saying they're getting out of it and then end up back in it. And, for me, I think if I hadn't have got in it, on the writing side and covering the sport as a media member, I think I'd have definitely eventually got back into it driving anyway. So, it is something about it. Once you get started, you're usually hooked, and definitely it's been that way for me and really most of my family. So I definitely know what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm involved. I can't afford to race. My father raced, granddaddy raced, so Webster Jr. and Senior both raced. The next best thing to do is to be in it, covering it.
Yep.
Now, you had an interesting internship. Tell me a little bit about your internship that got you pointed towards the riding and towards the journalistic side of the sport.
Well, I actually had a few internships coming out of college. Well, while I was in college back home, I went to the University of West Florida there in Pensacola, Florida, and interned at Five Flag Speedway, which is obviously isn't a dirt track, but it's the asphalt track there, and got to do some PR stuff for them and marketing, and got in with a local newspaper. But moving on from that, after college, I interned at what was then Lowe's Motor Speedway, now obviously Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that was pretty cool to be involved with that and be around the NASCAR stuff, and actually got to go to some of the races, the NASCAR races there at the Speedway, and work in the media center and right there with the drivers and all the journalists and media members. It was a pretty cool experience, and really showed me, something I wanted to be involved with. I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but it was pretty cool to be involved with it. And eventually, I got to do some of the dirt track stuff there at the dirt track at Charlotte, and that was, like I said, it was pretty cool to also get to see and cover and work around some racing there on the dirt track. So that was definitely a start for me. Like I said, once I moved up to Charlotte and did that, I was even hooked even more, and really decided it was the career field I wanted to go into was something with racing, and just so happened it was on the media side of it.
So speaking of dirt track racing, how did you get involved with one Michael Rigsby?
That's actually I didn't meet Michael for a long time. I was actually had been writing for Dirt on Dirt for quite a while before I even knew who he was.
Josh, hold on, I gotta stop you. Now,
right, go ahead.
Every time we mention Michael Rigsby, somebody is always laughing. I'm missing the joke.
I don't know what. There's no joke. Listen. We did. Hey, Josh, we did this show. I think it was our second show, and Gray, you were on the second show.
Yeah.
But anyway, I talked to Jody Shannon of the DRC, and I said that he was kind of like the something or other, and Rigsby was kind of like Mr. Rogers of the sport. But I meant no ill will, none at all. I've worked for him for a couple of years, freelance, here and there. But I've only met the guy twice. He's an enigma. I mean, I don't even know. He might be a hallucinogenic. I don't know. He might not even be real. So anyway, continue.
He's definitely. Like I said, I worked or was freelancing for Dirt on Dirt for probably a year and a half, maybe even close to 2 years before I even met Michael. But I mainly dealt with Todd Turner and on the editorial side of it when I'd send in my stuff or they'd ask to cover a race. But eventually I did get to meet Michael at at Charlotte at the dirt track. I guess it was one of the World Finals there. Finally met him, and he's an interesting character for sure.
Well, let me tell you this. I've known Michael. I can't say I know Michael, but I met him in March of 2009. No, I didn't. February of 2009. I did not see him in the flesh again until last December at the Lucas Oil Banquet.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was at the Lucas Oil Banquet?
Yeah, he was. You saw him. Don't be a jacktard. Okay.
Hey, dude, I don't remember half of that banquet.
Were you at the free bar a lot or something?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Anyway, Michael Rigsby is a great guy.
I was at the free bar a lot, though.
I was too.
Hey, well, by the way, if you still slide it, I'll trade some of the Summer Nationals coverage with you. You can do some writing from the Summer Nationals, and you'll get to spend plenty of time with him.
Actually,
doing that.
actually, Josh, I've been invited to do 5 races and 5 nights. I'm kind of excited on that.
There you go. That'll probably be while he's gone to Lernerville, won't it?
That might be.
So you'll miss him again.
The only thing, Rigsby is very important to the sport, and all joking aside, Rigsby has created a lot of buzz about the sport. He allows us to do what we do, me on the video side, you on the writing side. Now, I walk into the press box in Flemington Speedway, and there written in Sharpie on the wall, a joiner has the track record there. Tell us about getting that Facebook post.
Yeah, well, I already knew about the track record, but yeah, I did. I saw where Webb, you tagged me in a picture on Facebook. It was Joseph Joyner track record. What is it? 13 something. I don't even know what the time was, but yeah, it was, I guess, a few weeks after Joseph and my family there had been up there to run one of the Neesmith, I guess it was Neesmith sanctioned specials there in the crate late model, and I believe he, like I said, he broke the record there.
It was 13-point fast as hell.
What's that?
It was 13-point fast as hell.
Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, he wasn't fast enough. He didn't win the race that night. I think he ended up second. But he's pretty proud of that. He also had the track record there at Southern Raceway, or really our home track there in Milton, for a little while last year, and then Shep Lucas broke it late in the season, and he came close to re-breaking it, resetting it, I should say, there the season opener this year. But he's still working on that. He wants to get that one back, I'm sure.
Well, here we are at the top of the hour. Before we let you go, Josh, I want to tap into All That Is Josh Joyner, and I want you to tell me a little bit. I want you to give me a prognosis on the health of the sport, and what do you envision 2012 being like?
What I envision what being like?
The 2012 season.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely, obviously we've seen some low car counts starting out at a few races. We've seen some really good car counts down in Speed Weeks, but starting out, obviously the Cherokee and Lancaster and a few others didn't have what they wanted as far as car count wise. But I think a lot of that just had to do with scheduling and obviously some weather issues. I think we're actually definitely on the upward swing with the health of the sport as an overall. I mean, every race I've been to this year has been great crowds there. I mean, really huge crowds. And I know a few of the races I haven't been to that I've heard from other people and saw pictures from. There have been good crowds. So that's always a positive thing, to see the fans coming in large numbers to races. And I really think, I think for the drivers, it just takes a little bit longer for the economy to, when the economy's picking back up, the fans, when you're only spending whatever the gate fee is to get in to see the race, you obviously, that comes back quicker. When you're talking about drivers who got to invest, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to start a team, or even just to go to a race, couple $1,000 to go to a race, it's a lot harder to, it takes a little bit longer for the economy to see the effects on that. So hopefully we'll see, car count start to pick back up throughout the year. I really think we will, and I think it's, it's really going to be a turnaround year for the sport. I really feel like last year it turned around some, and we're going to see it pretty good this year as the year goes on, and we get some more of the summer racing and bigger shows. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and see what the year has to bring.
Josh Joyner is a staff writer with DirtOnDirt.com. You can, if you're a subscriber, you can go to DirtOnDirt.com. And how often do you have to blog for DOD? More than I should be doing it more. I try to do it a couple. I try to do a couple a month, but it usually ends up being one every 3 weeks or so. I should do more, but between all being on the road and posting other stuff on the site, that gets put on the back burner every now and then. Okay. But that'll be there. It'll be more hopefully throughout the year. For you guys, all my listeners, go out and check out DirtOnDirt.com. Look for Josh Joyner's blogs. Joshua, I count you as a friend. I appreciate you, sir, for coming on with us here on In the Dirt. We'll probably call on you as the season goes, and let me know if you're at a race that has something spectacular happens, like the concession stand catches on fire. You can call me, and we'll talk about it on In the Dirt.
Sounds great. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for having me tonight.
Not a problem. Josh Joyner, Dirt on Dirt. Brian Gray.
Yo.
We are going to call it an evening.
That's it, huh?
Yeah. Kyle May, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just that quick. Just going to call it an evening.
Just that quick. I'm on spring break with my 5-year-old. I got to get back out there and cook some fillets.
Well, you better get back up on that mountain a few more times and get yourself back in shape. You're going to be standing up on them towers pretty soon, aren't you?
That's right. Kyle May, you guys are heading to Fort Payne Motor Speedway, right?
Yeah, we're going to take the OMG car, we're going to take my dad's car and the ex-Kyle May machine, the picture I posted on Facebook yesterday. That boy's wanting to take his car in practice, so we're going to
when the hell do I get to make some laps? I want to know that.
I don't care. Just it don't matter to me. Just go find a car to drive.
Just go get your car to drive, Webb.
Just jump into somebody. I mean, doesn't matter who you drive. Just jump in one.
All right.
Most of the time, they're not watching.
This is my official begging. Anybody has a car that let me put some gentle laps on? Believe me, I'm not going to try to set no records. Well, okay. Well, we're going to end the show. I'd like to thank my guest. I'd like to thank James Clolinger, co-promoter of Greenville Speedway out of Greenville, Mississippi. I'd like to thank local hot shoe there, Mr. Bobby Jordan. I'm looking forward to actually meeting those guys out there in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to thank Lee Burdett, crate pilot out of Margaret, Alabama, Talladega Short Track local. He's going to be going traveling this year, doing some bigger shows. So we wish Mr. Lee Burdett good luck the 2012 season, and thank you for being on tonight. And, of course, we'd like to thank Josh Joyner for coming on from Dirt on Dirt, Brian Gray,
yes,
Kyle
sir.
May.
Bowler Raceway Park this Friday night. We're going to be getting it on hard.
Everybody go see Miss Kim and her racetrack?
Absolutely.
Did you like that, Brian? I remember Miss Kim's name. Hey, Miss Kim. How you doing, baby?
We got to make sure they have a really good year this year. So
we will. They have a spot here every week. We're going to do it. We're going to do a new segment here coming up. We're going to go around the country. I'm going to pre-record some stuff early Mondays. All right, take us out. Peace out, people.
Later.